Well, the shortage of the labor market is basically everywhere in the world right now. There are many reasons contributing to this fact. For example, right now in China, in Shanghai, you find out many of the labor forces has been locked down at home, which leads to the manufacturing sectors are underemployed. So they cannot hire people, especially the skillful people living in Shanghai. That's for one reason. And for some other things, it's like in Europe, like in New Zealand, I just mentioned, in Australia, inflation has become a problem. Usually, inflation is become a factor which can actually stimulate the labor market because prices going up, which means the companies are making more money. So they're thinking the market has been overheated, so they try to expand the employment. But right now, the situation is a little bit bizarre. On one hand, is that with inflation goes up too fast, so the government raise up the bottom wages or the minimum wages. So the cost for the employers has been going up very quickly, which they cannot pay. And secondly, because there is an extension or continuum of the policies after the COVID, so many governments still cannot fully quit their subsidy policies for the household. And the subsidy sometimes can be quite handsome. So many employees, they feel very reluctant to go back to work because with the subsidy and doing some other part-time job, they're more than enough to live. And also they can have more spare time to, to relax or be with their families. So that can be another problem. And also the COVID still has been ravaging in many other countries. For example, in Vietnam, we find out many factories has been largely affected. So when you get affected, so according to the law, and the employee can take a rest for like 5 days or 7 days. In UK, you find that the teachers, because the teachers are facing many of the students, so when they get sick, it's very legal and legit for them to just to quit for like 7 days to lock themselves down at home. So, but with half of your office are trying to take 3 days or 7 days off, and then you are facing much of the pressures of the short-handed. And also the similar situation happened in the hospital as well in Ireland, in many other European countries. You find out the nurses number has been really in a shortage because maybe COVID is not the death reason for those countries anymore, but with COVID plus other fundamental and chronic diseases, that can be a problem. So people waiting in line to get in the hospital has been rising so dramatically. In Canada, you find out the booking for the hospital appointment has been probably delayed for like 2 years. You cannot get into the hospital because there's no enough nurses and the doctors. So this kind of problem, when they comply or overlapping with each other, make the shortage of the hands has become more and more serious.
Right, and how will labor shortages affect the economy? How about the shortages further drive up wage growth and it could further accelerate inflation?
Well, right now, we cannot actually very accurately predict the situation. Normally, when the economy has been on the rise, the growth is solid and real and fast, like we witnessed in the early 2000s. The shortage of the labor is actually real because the whole economy is on the rise. The employer can actually pay the risen salaries to the employees, so everybody is a winner. But right now, we have a problem we call the delusion of the money. It's a monetary delusion for everyone. We see the prices rising, we see the salary should be on the rise, but actually no actual growth. It's just inflation. It's just a number again of increased money supply. And after a while, you will find out even though the price is going up, but no one is getting actually anything good or anything new. It's like with $100, you can buy one thing, and now it's $150, but still you can buy only one thing. It's not 1.5 things. So understanding this, and then the employer will stop trying to hire new people, and then the salary for the employees will going to drop, and then but the price is going to still be high, and then the whole society will fall into the trap of stagflation. On one hand, you have high inflation. On the other hand, you don't have actual growth. And then that's going to be a very bad situation. Nobody want to see.
Right, we should all watch out for these wrong signals. But Dr. Qu, I'm pretty sure there are some long demographic trends going on here, and a lot of Western countries, even including some developing countries, are facing the shrinking labor force in the long term. So what can be done to increase labor force? What role will immigration play?
Well, yes, the aging problem has become a major problem for many major economies right now. But trust me, the shortage of the labor forces caused by the aging problem wouldn't happen and appear to us in such a dramatic and substantial way. It's going to happen in a very long, smooth, and slow way. Immigration basically become a very important way, a remedy towards the major economies to save this problem, to solve this problem. But right now, because of the COVID, the immigration trend and the speed has been largely slowed down. Many countries, for their immigration policies, it has been stopped and impeded because people cannot process the applications and the visa issues like before. And on the other hand, inflation happened after the COVID, and the subsidy of the COVID also impeded the process. Maybe this is out of many people's imagination, because we issue so many money to save the economy during the pandemic. So right now we have to see huge inflation has been coming after that as a result. And with inflation, so many countries want to save the job and a valuable job, payable job for their own citizens. So they stopped or slowed down the immigrations. And the slowing down the immigrations actually make the things worse, but it's very political correct. So a government has been caught in the middle, so which make the things more complicated. So we're going to wait and see how government is trying to make the decision. Like I mentioned, any policies on one hand and on the other hand, you cannot have those hands.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your